Welcome to EJH British Cars. Well, several months ago I gave a review of the Harbor Freight manual tire changer, and I was doing a giant tire off my wife's Cadillac SUV, which it struggled with, but then again it wasn't designed to work with that, so I got to change some normal 60 size tires now. So these are 165/15 on steel wheels that are off of my TR2 project. Just putting a couple of other tires on to make it a roller, because they got two tires that are so old they won't hold air. So I thought I'd show you that, and also I'd have bought a couple of small accessories to help, and they really make a big difference. So we'll go over that as we go along. But let's get started. Well, there's the tire changer, and this is the tire today. So that's 165/15 on a steel 15-inch wheel. It's nothing special. This side, the bead I think is already broken, but we're going to use the built-in bead breaker, that's that, on the other side, and show you how that works. So the last time we tried this was on the Wise Cadillac wheel, and they're like 18 inches and 10 inches wide, and that's way bigger than what this says. So this is a 15 by 5 wheel, I think, 4.5 or 5, and you see it fits in quite readily. This is sitting, there's a piece of steel on that bottom plate that goes into this area on the other side of the rim, obviously, to hold it from moving around. And that's where we got it. So it's sitting on the steel right now. Just push it back. And that quite readily breaks that bead. So that's good. So this just spins off. And I've done a couple of things here. One is that this is the standard cross piece that came with it, but I just cut a little bit of tubing down so it wouldn't have those sharp edges to mark up some better wheels. And this is just a piece of steel for the same thing. I used it like this when I'm doing mag wheels so they don't mess them up, which don't really need it for this one. Go ahead and put that up here. And then need to put the pin through the lug nut hole. There we go. And that goes on there. I'm not going to bother with the spacer. That goes on like that. And use the tang on the edge of the bar. Snug that up a little bit. And then we need to put some lube on here. So just push that down. Lubricate around. I suppose you don't really need to go all the way around, but I usually do. This is actual tire lube. Though in the past I've used dishwashing detergent and like 409, Windex. You want something with a bit of soap because water evaporates very quickly. And we start here away from the valve stem. Get that up. Is that going to come just like that? Yes, it is. As you can see, that peeled up quite nicely. No problems. Get another bite on the tire. So this is walking around with me, so I'm going to get another tire iron. I'll just put that through behind it. Hopefully that'll stop it from moving around, which it did. And there you go. Came off toot sweet. I'll say that's way easier than doing it by hand. Okay, so we've got another tire. I lube the beads. You want to make sure that the rim faces are clean, your tire's clean, you got a good valve and all that, and I've done all that. And then just get it started. this thing is handy. I think they call it a pause foot or something like that. But you can just put that in back here. And that'll stop the tire from following you around. Try not to stand in your way. Make sure you get the tire down into the groove. Gets tight, you can do the last little bit with your tire iron. There we go. I was using this end of the iron. This goes against the rim and that goes against your bead of your tire. I'll put the pod down there by the valve. So I want to get the tire up in that upper notch, otherwise it just pops out. Using my right hand to push the wheel down in the groove. And my soap's drying out already. Not making life any easier. Well, that's very tight. Be careful when you're doing this. Don't pull this so that the end of the iron can hit you in the head if it pops out, because believe me, they pop out very easily. There we go. So it's still a bit of work, but not too bad. Okay, so we got the tire down. And this one looks like it ought to inflate a lot easier than that Cadillac tire did. Try to set the lower bead, and you want to make sure that your bead clears the inside edge of the rubber valve. Okay, so that didn't work. Usually if the tires were newer it would, but those tires are ancient. I'd say they're just something I'm going to use to push the car around. I'd never drive on them. Those tires are probably 40 years old. So here's another toy I picked up. This is to help you inflate things. So you fill it with compressed air. Not to exceed whatever they say the maximum is. Well, it's in metric. I have no idea what that means. Anyway, but we're at 110, and that should be enough. So that's a shut-off valve, by the way. So one of the things, if you did have something like this, the core is still in the valve stem. If you take the core out, and a lot of times you got to take the pin out of this thing, otherwise it won't release. But a lot of the times that'll let it blow up. So put that on there. You set this down at the edge of the rim and give it a shot of air. And that worked. It's very noisy. Should really wear earmuffs when you're going to do that. I'm reminding myself that. Alright, there it's holding air. So I'm just going to, tire number 2, set it to the pressure that I want. The B-breaker struggled with this one a little bit. I had to move it 3 times, but I still got it off. I'll have to admit that that standalone B-breaker that I have certainly works much more readily than this one does. Oh, let's see. Oh, well, I'll tell you, that's coming right off. Because this tire is a bit softer than that other one was. The bead managed to reseat itself because these are tube type rims. They don't have that extra bump on them. They're more prone to just falling back down over that edge. There we go. Get a little lubrication on here for at least for the beginning. Start the valve stem again. Oh. Ah. What happens when you get a tire? It's only about 30 years old instead of 50 years old, I guess. Just trying to think. I don't even see. These tires are so old. They don't have DOT stamps on them. All they have is a serial number, so I think the DOT stamp started sometime in maybe 1980, so they're older than that. So this tire, well, you can see it, was in the spare tire well of the TR2. It's a 590/15, so it's a Goodyear. Made in Great Britain, so I'm going to guess that this tire came with that car, brand new, all-weather rib. The serial number, 4-ply. Yeah. Oh, look at that. That's maybe 4 inches. This is crazy. Super cushion, Goodyear, made in Great Britain. So that's what makes me think it's not a replacement tire, because it would have been made in Akron or something. And look how tight these beads are together. This thing is, oh, and the sidewalls are hard. Wow. It's a good question whether I'm going to be able to get that to inflate or not. Oh, but we'll give it a whirl. Because this, I'm sure, is a tube type tire. Yeah, it's not even marked. Which tells me that it's before they started using tubeless tires, which is really in the 60s, I think. Anyway, get that on there. Still going pretty hard. Move you boys back a little bit. This piece out from there. Gonna go. There it is. Yeah. That's that. See if we can get my paw in there. It evaporates today. I don't think it lasts 3 minutes. There we go. Oh, I did manage to bend my bar a little bit. Huh. Well, we'll have to do something about that. This is not enough oomph in this thing. So we'll give this a whirl. Wow, I'm impressed. I gotta tell you, I'm impressed that they got that old 4-ply tire to inflate. That I did take the core out of the valve, by the way, to get more airflow into the tire, but I really didn't think it was gonna. I mean, I had a hard time just spreading them, just the tire loose without a wheel. Anyway, so is the hand tire changer as good as a Coates, even 1010 or 2020, which is what I used to use almost 50 years ago? No. Certainly, you know, the big tire, it's got a powered bar and everything else. It's much easier, but I haven't got anywhere to put one of those. Matter of fact, you can usually find those things pretty cheap if you look. So it's definitely a lot easier than changing tires with tire irons on the ground, particularly when you get to be an age where the ground is a little bit further away than it used to be. And that would be me. It struggled with those big Cadillac tires, but those things, they're bigger than the huge tires I got on the back of my pickup truck. So, and in all fairness, that tire changer says it's not for anything that big. Those 165-15s, if those had been newer tires and the sidewalls flexed a little bit, we would have done it in a heartbeat. With those old 4-ply tires that are, I swear, I really think that last tire was on the TR2 when it was brand new, which makes it 69 years old, probably 70 years old, because it would have been, you know, made at the tire manufacturer, then shipped to a warehouse, and then sent to Standard Triumph, and then put on a wheel, and then finally the wheel put on a car. So you see where I'm going. Because the car's from 1955. I think it's February 1955 or thereabouts. I gotta tell you that just having something that will lock the tire down, that's at waist height, and I've got it bolted to the concrete, makes life so much easier, even with something to struggle with, because, you know, you're not trying to hold the tire still. The tire's stationary, and you can lever on it. And I was pulling pretty hard. You see, I bent that one pipe a little bit. I'll have to straighten that out. But, you know, for the little bit of money those things cost, I think that even regular price is under $50, which is probably less than what it costs to get 2 tires mounted nowadays. I'm quite happy with it. You know, I change a lot of tires here, and I've got a nice spin balancer too. So when I deal with new tires, it's pretty easy to get them on and off the rims unless they're super low profile. And, you know, being able to balance them and, you know, save a lot of money. I mean, we've got like 10 cars registered and on the road. So that's 40 tires plus, you know, 10 spare tires. So we seem to be doing tire stuff all the time. And because my friends know I got this stuff here, I do some oddball stuff now and then too. So again, for the money, I think you'd have a hard time going wrong with that. Definitely think that bolting it down to the ground makes a huge difference. I've seen a lot of guys with them on pallets, and they're trying to stand on the pallet to keep it from moving and the pallet's flexing. You know, just bolt it to the ground. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And we'll see you next time.